Scooby-Doo, The Sword and the Scoob is a feature film from 2021. This is directed by Maxwell Atoms, Christina Sota, and Melchior Ryer. I apologise if I mispronounce any of those names. And it's not too bad. I didn't completely love it because I'm not a huge fan of stories set in this time period, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. But it actually does seem like a well-crafted narrative with a bit of suspense. It doesn't have the usual mystery element to it, but it is a little suspenseful. Shaggy is apparently descended from a knight in the time of King Arthur, and the gang decide to go to England. And while they're there, they get transported back in time to the time of King Arthur, and we meet Morgan Le Fay, and I really like the design of the character. I thought the character design was absolutely brilliant, and they become part of the story. And obviously we have involvement with Excalibur. I won't say what happens with the sword or anything like that. I don't want to give away too much. But if you are a fan of King Arthur and the legend with Merlin and the character of Morgan Le Fay, then you might find it interesting. I think it does incorporate those characters in that time period quite well. I don't know if it's necessarily completely accurate to the legend. If anybody has any thoughts on that, please feel free to share. As I said, I'm not that bothered personally. I don't find it that interesting, so I haven't seen or read that much about it beyond a couple of things here and there. So I can't comment on how accurate it is, but certainly it seems to be pretty well done. The development of the narrative is really good. The pacing is really good. The setting works really well. And as I said, it's not the typical monster mystery film, but we do have a bit of a mystery nevertheless. And I don't want to say, again, too much about that, as I don't want to spoil it. And I do recommend it. The narrative works well. The characters are interesting. The animation is really satisfying. We also have a really good voice cast. We have the usual Scooby voice cast. We also have Nick Frost, who voices Merlin, and Jason Isaacs, who voices King Arthur, and all of that was delightful as well. I also love the costumes that a lot of the gang wear during this. So even though I'm not a big fan of that time period, it is great fun to see the characters wearing these different costumes, and we do have a variety of different settings as well. So it has a lot to offer. I think if you're a fan of this time period or of this subject matter, then it might really appeal to you. For me, it was never going to be a personal favourite. I knew that going into it, but actually I found that it was still quite a pleasant watch. It was easy to feel engaged with the narrative, and the animation was certainly really delightful. So it may not be my favourite Scooby film, and I think there will be people who prefer it more than I did. But nevertheless, it's actually not bad. Scooby-Doo, The Sword and the Scoob is still one that I enjoyed, and I'm happy to recommend it.